Matter and its properties. So what is matter? So matter is everywhere and everything. Matter is anything that takes up space. Matter is made out of tiny particles called atoms. So matter is anything that has a mass and a volume. So chemistry is a study of composition, structure, and properties of matter and the changes it undergoes. There are two properties of matter. There are mass and volume. So mass is amount of quantity of matter, and volume is amount of space that occupied. Therefore, matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. All matter is composed of atom. So atom is extremely small, chemically invisible particle. Atom is Greek for that which cannot be divided. There are so many different kinds of matter, which are organized by their compositions and properties. Compositions is the types of amounts of the atoms that make up a sample matter. So the properties of this is the characteristics that give its substance and unique identity. Properties of matter allow us to distinguish between substances and classify them. Can reveal the identity of a known substance. Divide into two groups, physical properties and chemical properties. So, physical properties is a characteristics that can be observed or measured without changing the identity or composition of the substance. Example include color, odor, taste, size, physical state, liquid, gas, or solid, boiling point and melting point. And lastly is density. Physical properties used to describe matter can be classified as extensive. It depends on the amount of matter in the sample is mass, volume, length. Second is intensive. Depends on the type of matter, not the amount of present, and hardness, density, boiling point.
A chemical property is any of a material's properties that becomes evident during or after a chemical reaction. That is, any quality that can be established only by changing a substance's chemical identity. Chemical identity can be used for building chemical classifications. They can also be useful to identify an unknown substance or to separate or purify it from other substances. Chemical property is a property of a substance that is observed when a substance undergoes a several change. Examples of chemical properties include flammability, toxicity, acidity, reactivity, and many types, and heat of combustion. We are all familiar with matter. The definition of matter is anything that has mass and volume, takes up space. Matter can be found in three different types. These three types are considered the three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. A solid is a matter that has a defined shape and will not lose its shape, fixed volume, and fixed shape. For examples, chair, table, golf ball, hockey puck, glass jar. More examples are copper metal. Most metals are hard solids, which means it requires a lot of effort to change their shape. Next is light plastics. Plastics are a group of solids that were invented by humans. Next, soft fabrics. Fabrics are solids made up of many thin threads woven together. Lastly, natural wood. Wood is a solid that is found in nature.
States of matter liquid. A liquid is matter that will take the shape of any container it is placed in. Has a fixed volume. Example of a liquid is water, soda, milk, juice, and tomato sauce.
A gas is matter that does not have fixed shape or volume, but will completely take up all the space in a container. Gases have a lower density than other states of matter, such as solids and liquids. there is a great deal of empty space between particles, which have a lot of kinetic energy and are not particularly attracted to one another. Gas particles move very fast and collide with one matter, causing them to diffuse or spread out until they are evenly distributed throughout the volume of the container. According to the educational website Lumen Learning, gas can only be contained by either being fully surrounded by a container or held together by gravity. When more gas particles enter a container, there is less space for the particles to spread out, and they become compressed. The particle exert more force on the interior volume of the container. This force is called pressure. There are several units used to express pressure. There are two types of change in matter: physical change and chemical change. As the name suggests, a physical change affects a substance's physical properties and chemical change affect its chemical properties. Matter is capable of undergoing changes, which are classified as either physical or chemical. Physical changes in matter are reversible. An ice cube can melt into liquid water, and then the liquid water can be frozen back into an ice cube. Chemical changes, on the other hand, are not reversible. A log born in a fire turns to ashes, but the ashes cannot be changed back into a log. In a physical change, the material involved in the change is structurally the same before and after the change. Types of some physical changes are texture, shape, temperature, and a change in a state of matter. A change in the texture of a substance is a change in the way it feels. For instance, a block of wood may feel rough when you run your finger across it, but rubbing the wood with sandpaper smooth the surface, so it no longer feels rough. The wood itself has not changed during sanding to become new material. Only the texture of the surface changed. Physical change only changes the appearance of a substance, not its chemical composition. Another way to think about this that physical change does not cause a substance to become a fundamentally different substances, but a chemical change causes a substance to change into something chemically new.
Physical changes in matter, changes in shape, texture, size, dissolves, and break apart. Let's proceed to chemical changes in matter. A chemical changes in matter is when matter becomes something completely new. New matter is formed. The substance present at the beginning of the change are not present at the end. New substance are formed. The change cannot be undone.